Hello there, this is Rom Wills coming back at you with yet another podcast. Too many men want the fantasy. And, this is something I've talked about here and there, and particularly when I talked about men chasing unicorns. But it's something that men have to deal with. Because what I'm seeing, biggest problem with many men is that they can't deal with a woman's true sexual nature. And I mean, other coaches have said this, other commenters have said this. Women, they want to get down just like we do. But many men can't deal with that in the implications. And the reason why is because many men have a fantasy of their ideal woman, a unicorn. You got guys who want, they want that beautiful dime who's only been with nobody. Ideally, I mean, I've seen guys in their 30s and 40s talking about they want a virgin. But that virgin need to be like at least in her 20s. When we live in a society where women have had some type of sexual contact, voluntary sexual contact, we ain't even going to get into involuntary, but voluntary sexual contact by the time they graduated high school. Yet you got some men who want that. And see, that hurts men because many women run that game. They run that game on the men, right? They know, here's the issue. Many women know that there aren't enough sexually desirable men around for them. I mean, the numbers aren't there. The numbers aren't there. People say 80-20. I would say 90-10. But a lot of women know they still want sex. They still want to get married. For a variety of reasons, security, satisfying grandma and them, who get tired of them coming to the family cookout without a man, status, whatever, survival, especially in the coming times, especially survival. In fact, that's always been a case. I'll never forget, this older woman broke that down to me, right? She broke it down to me. This a woman been married to this guy 20 years, just up and divorced him. Had grandkids and whatnot, right? And I said, well, hold up. How you just gonna roll on the guy? He said he ain't really doing anything wrong, but she was just like, she just married him for survival, right? See, what women have figured out, hey, they still need to get with a guy. They would prefer maybe that 10%, right? They prefer that guy got them blissed out, got them floating on cloud 9, got them like making contact across the galaxy and stuff to Thanos. Shit. But ain't enough of them to go around. So they say, all right, how do I get this guy? I ain't really feeling him. Oh, this guy want a fantasy woman. So let me do this. I'm going to approach that guy. I'm going to approach that guy and be that fantasy woman. That's why a lot of women, when they get public, and I've had this happen. They get in public forums or they'll say, oh, I'm not like the rest of those women. I'm not a thought. I wouldn't do that. Me and my girlfriends don't do stuff like that. Oh, no, we don't deal with like muscular pretty boys and all. We don't, that's not us. We want good, stable men with compassionate men, good, stable providers and whatnot, right? Because, and here's the thing, they're not lying. They're just not telling the whole truth, So, yeah, they do want that guy as a fallback guy. Because usually the pattern is the women, they will play into that man's fantasy. Some women might even move. They'll play, that pure thing, or that woman who, like many guys are realistic enough that woman had sex before, but she'll be like, oh, just a relationship. She don't tell you about those sex parties she used to go to, or that she was into BDSM, right? Or she was some guy's side chick for 5 years. You ain't gonna hear all that. But what you're going to hear is whatever she thinks he wants to hear. Because understand, and I always give categories how women divide men. right? And in fact, I did a video on my Vimeo site about the different groupings of men, like boyfriend, husband, dick, creep, invisible, buddy, but that's some real stuff. So they know, they look at a guy and they say, all right, he a husband type. All right, I can't, first of all, they know they routinely sleep with a guy on the first date. Routinely. Like if he cool and stuff. But if they see like, oh, wait a minute, he kind of cool. He probably more likely to be like monogamous. Because he don't look like all that who can get a bunch of women. All right, so, she going to go out and play that good girl role. Even when he trying, she'll have sex with him, but she'll make it work and make it look like he had to work for it. You see, a lot of guys, they'll think, oh, she's a good woman. She made me work for it. She ain't just give it up like that. Because a lot of women, they know, right? They trying to get that husband type and stuff. They'll know, and they'll work it. Because all they doing, and they playing a script. They playing a script. Don't believe for 1 second. Like you get some guys out here, right? They'll think, oh, I don't want to learn game. I don't need to. I can just be straight up. Man, some women been learning game, not in a form, not on the internet, but from mama since they were little. Right? They were looking at how mama had daddy wrapped around her fingers, or how, mama, dude go out the door and stuff. That, the daddy husband go out the door and, some young dude come in the back door. And if he if he's slick young dude, he brings some candy for the kid, and she remember all that. Because then she'll do the same thing when she get of age. And the reason why it works, because many men are so busy looking for the fantasy, and then you get smart women who play into the fantasy, that they can't deal with the reality. See, the thing is, if a man learns how to deal with the reality, that's when they truly become red pill. That was put out on the internet now. When you can deal with the reality and get comfortable with that reality, then you're like, oh, okay. You understanding, first of all, you can look at a woman and say, look, I don't have time for that. Just be who you're going to be. I'm cool. I'm not going to judge you on it. Just let her, but at the same time, let her know, hey, you know what? I ain't the marrying type. In fact, that's why some dudes out here can say they not going to get married, or just the way they carry themselves, they not going to get married, and they get all the women. That's because a woman knows she can be herself around that dude. She don't have to play the fantasy, because the whole game of playing into being that fantasy woman is to get a husband. Is to get a respectable relationship. That's the whole point of it. So if they meet a guy and that guy just kind of let them know, it's like, nah, you can be that. Go ahead, be a hoe. I don't care. Shoot, kind of like that. And you get some guys who say that. Boom. Because if you look at a lot of men now, and this is regardless of race on social media, regardless of race, what they're saying, oh, these women ain't acting like housewives, or I'm not going to wife them, which means that's what these men are looking for. But if a dude just like, nah, I love a thought, women will hit him up like crazy. Because that's all you really have to do. It's not hard. It's not really hard. Just let them be free. Do what they want to do. Understand something. Fantasies don't exist. Unicorns don't exist. Once a guy gets that, he's never really without companionship unless he just don't want to be bothered. Once he can understand that one little thing, right? You just say, what, don't even look for it. That don't exist. Shoot, every woman you deal with, you're going to deal with some type of baggage. Some dude done been with her before. Now, I know some dudes will hear this and they'll say, that's why I ain't messing with her, man. That's why I'm just going my own way. Or, these women just say, hold up, dude. Hold up. The problem is that you're still dealing with the fantasy then. Once you get past the fantasy, then you can deal with them according to the way you want to deal with them, because you already know what's up. You actually empowered, because then you ain't getting fooled. You already know you can deal with that. Then it's your choice whether you want to deal with. And then any trouble you get in, that's on you. Cause you going in with your eyes wide open. So, that's something for y'all to think about. Anyway, that's it for today. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace and blessings.